Although we work very hard to tailor these classes to meet your needs, it's also very important that you check in with your medical professional and you listen to your body to make sure what you're doing is appropriate for you. I'm Andrea Trank, and I'm going to guide you today in this practice. Today's practice is going to focus on your upper body, your chest, your shoulders, and your neck. So we'll be focusing on both strengthening and creating more flexibility. So one of the things that I think happens as we age, particularly for women, is our upper body loses more of its strength. We're always using our leg muscles. We walk a lot. But for many of us, the upper body was not particularly strong to start off with. So for me, every time I tried a routine that involved hand weights, I ended up injuring myself and then having to stop what I was doing. So what I have found is I could use my yoga practice to maintain a certain amount of strength, but I was not going to look buff like those people who use weights all the time, and that wasn't my goal. So my suggestion is, if you really want to do a lot of work on the upper body, you are going to use hand weights. But if it doesn't work for you, this is a great alternative and is very safe. Everything I do is made to be incredibly safe. So I believe a good part of this practice can be done in the chair. If you want, you could stand up and do some of the arm things and neck things and chest things I'm going to show you, but it's not necessary. There are a few things I'm going to show you down on the floor, and if you're not able or don't feel comfortable to do things down on the floor, you could always use a wall for some of the things I'll show you on the floor, which would be less stress on your body. You would still be working some of the same muscles. All right, so let's go ahead and start first by grounding ourselves and getting very present to where we are today. If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Slow your breathing down, and let's focus our breath in the upper body, in the chest area. Oftentimes in yoga, we encourage you to focus your breath down deep in the belly. But since we're going to be paying attention to this area, let's go ahead and direct our breath to the area that we're going to be paying attention to. One thing to notice as you're breathing in and out of your chest area is, are you using accessory muscles to help your breath? In other words, are your shoulders going up and down when you breathe up here? Or are you feeling this sideways up here? So just check in, just notice, don't judge. You could even put your hand on your chest. You could put your hand on your rib cage to see. And then you could just place your hands on your lap and just notice, again, your breath in the upper body. So anytime that you feel like it, go ahead and close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, then you are focused more internally. So once you see me do something, if my instructions are clear enough, go ahead and close your eyes. So when your eyes are closed, I'd like for you to notice anything that you notice about your upper body. How does the left side feel versus the right? How about the front versus the back? Are you feeling any tension in your neck area? Just notice these things. We'll begin with some gentle stretches for our upper body. Go ahead and drop your chin to your chest. Draw your chin up. This is called nodding yes. So nod yes. Notice when you drop your chin to the chest, what do you feel? And then when you release it, what do you feel? Now I'm going to ask you to lift your chin up. I don't want you to drop your head back because that can hurt your cervical spine. But lift your chin up as if you're trying to be a swan. So you're thinking about extending. And then come back to neutral. Lift the chin up. And back to neutral. Third time. Lift the chin and back to neutral. Now turn your chin to be over the shoulder, but keep the chin parallel to the ground. And back to neutral. Go the other way. And back to neutral. Notice any differences in your range of motion when you're turning one direction, back to neutral, and then the other direction, back to neutral. Now draw the shoulder up. Let the ear fall toward the shoulder. Depress the shoulder down. Draw the head back to neutral. Do that 2 more times on this side. Shoulder comes up. Head goes down, ear toward the shoulder. You're compressing those muscles. And then you're lengthening the muscles. One last time. Contract the muscle. And release. Let's go to the other side. Draw the shoulder up. Drop the ear toward the shoulder. Let the shoulder come down. Let the head come back to neutral. 2 more times. Back to neutral. And third time. Back to neutral. So loosen things up organically just by moving the shoulders around. After we do a little sequence, it's nice to do some sort of organic, nourishing movement that just feels good in your body. I've changed directions. Shake things out. So the shoulder, if you're going to work the shoulder properly, you really need to work it in all the different directions, not just forward and back. But let's move the shoulder forward and feel the muscles engaging right here in the chest. I'm going to turn my hand inside out and then come back to neutral. And then I'm going to draw the shoulder back, feeling the back of the shoulder muscles engage. My palm is to the ceiling. Back to neutral. Forward, neutral, back, neutral. Now let's go up and down. Lift it up, neutral. Draw it down so you're depressing the shoulder. The hand is reaching toward the ground, neutral. Lifting it up, neutral. Letting it go down, neutral. And then let's put that all together. So the shoulder comes forward. You're working these front muscles. The shoulder goes up. You're working actually these muscles on top. The shoulder opens. You're working your back muscles. The shoulder goes down. You're working underneath the armpit. Forward, up, back, and down. Let's reverse direction. Forward, up, back, down, and forward, up, back, down, and forward. Let's repeat that whole sequence to the other side. You might want to move that shoulder around if you created any tension. Here we go. Go up, feel that, come down. Draw the hand down to depress the shoulder, come to neutral. Up, neutral, down, neutral. Now let's go forward and back. Forward, feel these muscles engage. Neutral, open it up, and neutral. Forward, neutral, and open it, and neutral. Let's put this all together. So when we're lifting it up, we're contracting and using the muscle up here. When we're going forward and the hand is turning inside out, you feel the front of the chest. When you go down, it's under the armpit you're working. And when your hand turns backward, you're working the back of the shoulder. Go ahead and smooth that out. And then let's reverse. So this time go up and open, down, and turn the hand inside out to work the front. Up, open, down, and front. Loosen things up, just check in, close your eyes a second, and just notice if you have more energy, more liveliness all across this area. How does it feel? We're waking things up. So draw your hands together and interlace the fingers, and then put your elbows together as well. Now this is where we're going to use a little bit of isometrics. And isometrics is using resistance of your own body. And to me, this is one of the safest ways to gain strength, where you're not injuring yourself, possibly with weights. So I'm already feeling, I'm creating a little tension. I can feel my muscles working. And then I'm going to resist as if the air is pressing on the elbows, as the elbows are pressing away, resisting. And then when I get to my fullest range of motion, I'm going to release the palms, open things up more, turn the hands to face me, stretch forward, lift up the arms. Maybe you want to look up, maybe not. And then let the arms gently float down. Now try that again. See if you can change how the fingers are interlaced. So put the other finger on top. Draw the elbows together and the wrists together. Press, press, press. Feel the strength, feel the work. Don't make it painful though. Release the palms. Turn the hands inside out. Stretch them in front. Lift them up to the sky, maybe looking up. And then let them go down. How are you feeling? Shake that out. Okay, let's see if there's anything else I want you to do from here. Well, this one is kind of interesting. This one's called nerve flossing. So it works the shoulder and the neck and down this line in a very safe way. So start with both palms facing up, your hands outstretched. So we're going to lean toward my left arm, and we're going to turn the right hand down and keep the left hand up. Now we're going to come back to the center. We're going to lean toward the right. My head is going toward that direction. That palm is going up. The other palm is going down. Back to the center. So you can feel the muscles working, but we're also flossing the nerves. Back to center. And back to center. Shake things out. How are you feeling? Give yourself a bear hug. One arm on top. Open up on an inhale. Exhale, bear hug. Other arm on top. Open it up. Now I am going to show you primarily what I'm going to be doing on the ground. First, just against the wall, in case for whatever reason you can't do some sort of push-up, downward dog on the ground. It is very safe to do this against the wall, and you can still work your upper body. So if you have your chair, go ahead and move your chair out of the way. And so leaning up against the wall, I'm going to do my push-ups against the wall like this. And then the other thing you can do against the wall is you can do a downward dog on the wall. And you can walk toward the wall and do a cobra on the wall. So I just want to show you that everything I'm going to show you on the ground is possible on the wall if being on your hands and knees or down on the ground does not work for you. So I'm going to grab an extra blanket because my knees can get a little sensitive, and place that under my knees. So all of these things I'm going to show you now could either be done on hands and knees, or you could do them in full plank position. So if you're doing hands and knees, you would do some version of a push-up like this. You could go into a puppy pose, stretching your arms in front of you, head to the ground. And then you could gently go chin, chest, belly down to the ground, which I don't do that well, and then push up into a cobra pose. Now, I've determined through a lot of training that a cobra pose can be made much safer if you tuck your toes in, engage the backs of the legs to pull the knees off the ground, and then lift up slightly in your cobra pose using a little bit of arm strength. So that is one version of this. Now, if you are feeling strong and you don't have injuries in your neck or your shoulders, you could be doing a downward dog, move to a plank, a downward dog, move to a plank, and a downward dog, and a plank. And that's a great way to work strength. But again, you have to be careful because I've injured myself so many times doing those kind of things, particularly if you're not used to it. So be very mindful when you do those kind of things. So we're going to do an interesting version of a child's pose, which gets your shoulders and chest in. And this could be a held child's pose, which is lovely, almost in the yin style. So I'm going to grab my bolster because when I get into child's pose for any length of time, I need to support the tops of my ankles. I'm going to widen my knees, draw my arms out in front of me and make my hands into a prayer position. Drop the head and now tuck the arms down my back in reverse prayer and breathe. So this is a great way to open up the chest. And just notice how you're feeling. All right. So we're going to make our way to our backs. And one of the interesting ways you can work still your chest and neck from your back, I'm going to show you from the Gentle Somatic Yoga tradition, is doing a modified version of a bridge pose. So what you're going to do in your bridge pose is you're going to interlace your hands behind your head. So setting up for the bridge pose, my hands are interlaced behind my head, supporting my neck. And I want you to lift up your hips as if doing a bridge pose. Then lift the head and neck with the arms supporting it. Lower the bridge and then lower the head. Now release the hands for a minute. Allow the neck to turn to one side. Come back to the middle. Don't lift the head off the ground. Turn to the other side and back to the middle. Notice your range of motion. So we're going to do a few more of these. Now I want you to turn your head a little bit off to the right side. So it's about, for me, about 25 degrees. I'm going to lift my hips in the bridge pose, lift my head with the arms supporting it, lower the bridge, and lower the head. Now release tension when you come to the ground.
Let's do that 2 more times. Lift the bridge pose. Lift the head with the arms supporting. Lower the bridge and lower the head. Last time. Lift the bridge. Lift the head. Lower the bridge. Lower the head. Release the arms. Allow the head to turn the direction that you were just working it in, and see if you have a little more range of motion this way. Come back to the center. Let's do 1 in the center before we go the other way. Lift the bridge, lift the head, lower the bridge, lower the head. Now when I say lift the head, it can be lifted 1/4 of an inch. It can be lifted 1/8 of an inch. Don't force yourself to lift it too high. And now let's release our arms for a minute and turn the head to that side to see what your range of motion is to start off with. Connect the hands behind the head again. Turn the head a little bit toward that direction. Lift the bridge. Lift the head. Lower the bridge. Lower the head. Make sure you release tension. Lift the bridge. Lift the head. Lower the bridge. And lower the head. Soften. Last time. Lift the bridge. Lift the head. Lower the bridge first. Let the head come down. Release the arms. Allow the head to turn toward the other direction. Notice how it feels. See if you have a little more range of motion. And then just allow the head to gently turn side to side without lifting it off of the ground. So widen the feet a little bit. Still keep your knees bent. And if you can place your arms behind your head, palms up in a cactus position, do that. If that is too much on your neck or shoulders, you could always put some sort of bolster behind you to elevate the floor, and then allow your arms to rest on that, still palms facing the ceiling. So I'm going to allow my legs to drop left. I'm going to look right and lengthen my right arm along the bolster or floor and come back to center. Let the legs drop right, look left. Allow that arm to lengthen. This is called a body yawn. Back to center, a great way to end a practice with a nice twist and a nice opening of the shoulders. Let's come back to stillness. If you feel comfortable, you could stretch completely out on the ground just to check in. But if that doesn't feel comfortable, keep your knees bent or put a cushion under the knees. And let's just settle back down into our breathing. Maybe place your hand on your chest. Feel that breathing coming in and out of the chest or heart center. Give thanks to your body for all it does, and thanks to you for paying attention and activating this upper body.